Guys, let's get to our speedy Week 15 NFL recap. I'll start this off because, Toddy, I will take the L on this one as I discuss Thursday night football in the rain. The Rams beat the 49ers 12-6 after the Rams go from scoring 40-plus against the Bills.
How many touchdowns were scored in this game?
A whopping 0. So the Rams go from scoring. Oh, my God. I'm dumbfounded by how this game even went. Like, it's in the rain. Okay. But the Rams go from scoring 40-plus the previous week to winning this game without scoring a touchdown. It's just extremely frustrating if you're a 49ers fan. Deebo Samuel, with the spotlight on him, had arguably the worst game of his career. He had a walk-in touchdown on a slant route that he is known for. And there was another play in this game where Purdy threw it over his head. It was on Brock. But on this particular play, Brock put it right on his chest, right on the numbers. And Deebo dropped it, and it was third down, so he immediately ran to the sideline. And Deebo is the most upset person in this world about that play. I understand that. I don't need to rag on him because he's more upset about it than Toddy and I combined. It just feels like if you want to get a summary of what the 49ers 2024 season has been, it's that play right there. And it's just been such a regression for Deebo Samuel. Like, he should go back to wearing number 19 because he has not been the same since he's been wearing number 1. And now it just feels like when John Lynch is going to have the ultimate decision this offseason of Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk, do you go with the guy who was terrible through 4 weeks and then tore his ACL? Or do you go with the guy who was terrible all year and older? I think at this point, and I was saying this before the season, Deebo Samuel is not going to be a San Francisco 49er next year. The 49ers, if they have to choose between those two, they're going to stick with Brandon Ayuk, as bad as he might have been at the beginning of this season. That's kind of my thoughts on it. But Toddy, do you, just because this is both of our teams and we're not going to talk about this game in depth, do you have any thoughts on the 49ers? Basically, that was basically a season-ending loss right there. They have a 0.1% chance to make the playoffs at this point. So did you have anything you wanted to say about the 49ers 12-6 loss to the Rams?
It's over.
Yeah. Shaun did say that's all, folks.
I
sure did.
The Michael Scott meme. It's over. Yeah, hey, this year is just, you just kind of been waiting and waiting. Like, oh, we're going to little engine that could. We're gonna keep pushing. We're in the hunt still, and then we lose to the Rams. We lose to Seattle. We get scraped by the Bills. Get scraped by the Packers. A little too late now. It's kind of this was season from hell, as a lot of people call it. Injuries played a big role. Our team wasn't that good. Christian McCaffrey barely played. Deebo looks like a shell of himself. Our defense is bad. This is a ball up top year. I think we just need to kind of just restart. Usually if you guys have seen me on previous podcasts, years past, how the banter is between me and Kevin. Go back and forth a lot on the show. This year, I'm a little bit more. I'm a little bit more tucked. I'm in my doghouse. I can't really say anything. Kev's hitting me when my hands are down. Hitting me in my chest while my hands are down. So I don't really got anything else to say. Our team's not good. I'm not gonna be one of those Niner fans say, "Well, this guy and this guy and this guy and our coach," and no, we're not good. That's just what it is. I think we're favored. Against Miami. I don't know why.
No, wait.
We're dogs.
Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. We are favored against Miami. I'm sorry.
Are we? I think we're dogs, to be honest.
Let me check that as you finish.
But I mean, we need. What do we need? Do we need another defensive coordinator? Because
head coach?
No,
maybe they just need a new message. We've been hearing the same thing for a couple of years now. Maybe they just need a new voice.
No.
So The 49ers, to answer your question, I apologize. I was wrong. You were correct. The 49ers are dogs. It's a 1.5 point spread. The Dolphins are favored by 1.5.
I mean, our defense was better last year, in my opinion. We kind of have the same guys. I feel like
Wilkes. That was with Steve Wilkes. Yeah.
Exactly. Wilkes down the stretch was kind of. Kyle didn't like the things that he was calling in the Super Bowl and made a hasty decision, maybe. In hindsight,
they got there though.
But I mean, yeah, our defense was solid though last year. This year, we're all over the fucking place. We're running around with a chicken or head cough. So I mean, I'm looking at the draft right now, and I don't. We're probably gonna be like 14th. That's not good enough for me. I need a top 10 pick. So if we're gonna go out, let's go out. So. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of look at on Sundays. I kind of just like, all right, the Niners are coming on. Why do you watch this team if they do this to you? I have to watch. But you said that they suck. I know. I still got to watch.
I wonder what life feels like when your favorite team doesn't make the playoffs. How does that feel?
It seems like a chore now that I have to watch the Niners.
Kevin, that question just dug so deep.
Kev was like, I know that we was bad last year. At least we made the playoffs.
Hey, man, we don't know what it's like to make Cancun plans. You know, we played maybe one round, but we going.
Well, as we keep things moving with this recap, Jaevon, if you could give us your thoughts on the Ravens beating the Giants 35-14.
You said it was what game, Shaun? I'm sorry.
Ravens.
It's okay. It was the Ravens. Yeah. The Ravens beating the Giants.
DeVito got hurt. The Ravens were favored by 17 points in this game. Like 17? Are you fucking shitting me? In the NFL? 17
points. Scores.
17 points in the NFL is like a college team being, like in the first games, like when college first starts, it's like Alabama plays like Mercer and they're favored by like 40. That's like what 17 points is in the NFL. I mean, the Ravens are really good. They kind of had to get their swag back after I think they were on a bye. They lost to the Eagles and were on a bye, and so they had to get their swag back. Lamar's really good. I have him in fantasy. I saw that Mark Andrews. He set like the touchdown record.
All-time record.
He's like the all-time touchdown leader for the Ravens. Previously held by, I think it was Jamal Lewis. So that was pretty cool. I'm seeing more stuff about Deontay Johnson, like him not playing and all that stuff. That's kind of weird. You kind of look the Panthers kind of fleeced them maybe because they knew what it was like and kind of wanted to get him out of Dodge. And I mean, yeah, Lamar's really good. He's really good at football. I feel like he should be in MVP conversation still by his numbers. But he's already got 2, so people are going to get Lamar fatigue for MVP, so they're not going to put him in those combos. But Ravens are really good. The Giants are trying to get Shador and/or Cam Ward.
Ain't no Andor. Only way to Andor is Deion says he ain't going.
And we spoke of this man earlier. He has appeared in the comments. Shout out to Cousin James, who says, yo, what's good? Just got home, checking in with the guys. We appreciate you. And Kevin, this next one was a barn burner as the Jets beat the Jaguars 32-25.
McCorkle.
We used to drag Mac Jones to the dirt, Then he got a new opportunity. Trevor Lawrence is out. And luckily, he has a guy called Brian Thomas Jr. 10 catches, 2 touchdowns, 105 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. is a top 7 receiver in yards right now. I know beginning of the season, everyone's screaming, oh, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors. No one was giving Brian Thomas Jr. his respect. And
I gave him his respect. I wanted to draft him.
No, I get it. You drafted him in the 6th round, Toddy. There's only 1 round left. You didn't expect that much. They got guys like Christian Kirk. They thought that they were going to have Evan Ingram. So we just thought he was going to fall down the totem pole. We saw Travis Etienne be really inconsistent this year. So for Brian Thomas Jr. to really just kind of have this breakout season and for him it's not an argument. It's not crazy to say that he's the best receiver in this class.
He has the best year.
It's not
He
crazy.
has the best year. Yeah.
We can talk about what they did in college, but no one gives a hell what they did.
That's our politics.
It all as much as it hurt me to say this.
No, I'm still taking Marv.
Is he the best pass catcher?
Now, don't get me wrong. Would I love to see Marvin Harrison in a position where we suck? You're catching this ball 13 times. Who else are you going to throw the ball to? Parker Washington the third? The backup tight end? Hey, Bimsy?
Hey, strange, man.
Strange. So he's getting the opportunity. I'm not going to be the one to come on here and say he's the best. I get it. Stats. What have you done for me lately? Then you can say the same thing about Marvin Harrison being on a playoff contender. You know what I mean? So he has to share the ball, things like that. So situations definitely matter. But closing thoughts, Devontae Adams reminded everybody who he was, his 100th career touchdown pass. Really nice to see. This was the 1 week, you bet on the Jets and they win. So it was a good week.
I couldn't do it. I'm sorry. You're not going to get me.
Week after week. But he'll sit here and bet on the Bears, Sean. He believes in his top 15 quarterback and Hall of Fame quarterback.
I got off the train.
Finally got off the train. I saw a clip on X this past week. It's every time I say X, like I try to be politically correct and say X, but it just makes me cringe anytime I say it. So I saw a clip on Twitter this week, and it was the clip of the Hail Mary. And the caption just said, yeah, the Bears, they were like 4-1, 4-2 at that point, and they could have gotten to 5-2, 5-1, something like that. And that play ultimately changed their season, and now they've lost like 6 games in a row. And so it's very unfortunate what has happened to the Bears. Something that hasn't been unfortunate is what has happened to the Cowboys. I am not rooting for injuries, but it hasn't been unfortunate. Kevin, did you want to say something?
Darvin Ham is undefeated in the NBA Cup. The Bucks have now won. He's
They
undefeated.
beat the shit out of the Thunder.
Never lost. Maybe he wasn't the problem.
And a lot of people were talking down on Doc Rivers and just what he has been as a head coach. Like Adrian Griffin had like a 31-10 record, and Doc hasn't come close to that so far. But looks like he's got the Milwaukee Bucks clicking as they are about to win the NBA Cup, the second annual NBA Cup. So congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Doesn't this count as the first one since it's a different name now?
No, I think the
now it's the Emerald Cup. Last year was the NBA Cup.
I think it's just
it was the NCAA tournament last year, wasn't it? It was just the NCAA tournament. I don't think they really has.
Yeah. It's all the same. I think that this is just the presenting sponsor is Emirates.
There we go.
Yeah. So the Bucks win the second annual NBA Cup. Congratulations to them. But we will press on with our NFL content here on a Tuesday. And as I was saying, what's happened to the Cowboys this season has not been very unfortunate, but the Cowboys fans, like Uncle Manny in the comments, they got to enjoy life a little bit more on Sunday because the Cowboys got to win 30-14 against Bryce Young and the Panthers. And all I can really say from this one is that the Cowboys, they hurt their overall draft pick positioning with this win. And Micah Parsons, he had a pair of sacks in the game. Congratulations, Micah. He's going to continue to be great. But I don't really know what to say other than that. It's like this was a nothing burger game for me. But congratulations, Cowboys fans.
They're still in the hunt.
Still in the hunt. Congratulations. They're in the hunt just as much as the 49ers are, Jaevon. But the next game, Toddy, if you could talk about this one for us, the Commanders snuck by the Saints 20-19, and I saw some controversy from the referees and the clock operators in this game.
This is a game me and Kevin bet on. Did not hit because the Commanders were favored by 7.5, and I was thinking about bumping it down to 6.5. Just it's a touchdown. And that would have been looking good all the way up until the final end of the game. I thought the Commanders, they kind of were controlling the game for the most part. They couldn't stop Terry McLaurin. He was pretty much just running past the defenders. Jaden Daniels was slinging the ball all over the yard. The Saints weren't really able to do anything until this guy by the name of Spencer Rattler came into the game. They started completing passes. Alvin Kamara just started making shit happen. All of a sudden, it's a one-score game when the Commanders miss a 54-yard field goal, and Spencer Rattler gets a chance, I think it was like less than a minute, to drive down the field and score. What Kevin or what Shaun was talking about was it kind of came down to they got like within the 10-yard line, like inside the 10, and there was like an issue with the clock where they had like, it was like 12-ish seconds, something around that. I'm not sure how many seconds were on the clock. And the clock got all the way down to like 4 seconds. And then it just mysteriously stopped for like 3 seconds within that. When the clock hit 4 seconds, it stopped for like an extra 3 seconds. And then that gave the Saints an extra, basically an extra down, and Spencer Rattler throws a touchdown pass to Foster Monroe, and all of a sudden, Saints can win the game. They call a timeout. I don't know if they called a timeout. They didn't have a timeout. They kind of like the point after, and then immediately when Spencer Rattler throws the touchdown pass, he like holds up the 2. He's like, "We're going for 2 for the win." And then, I don't like the play call. They try to run like a sprint right to the corner of the end zone. I don't really like sprint right options like at the 2-yard line. It's kind of in a bunch formation. And then it kind of just, it got too crowded basically in the end zone. You kind of run out of space when you're in the red zone, or when you're inside the red zone. And I mean, ball got kind of pushed to the right a little bit, incomplete. Saints lose. You can't be mad at him for trying to go for the win. I probably would have done the same thing, but I probably would have ended up calling a different play, in my opinion. But I don't think Alvin Kamara was in the game at that point in time. But that was a very exciting game that didn't really need to happen, and the Commanders needed that game, because if they would have lost, a bunch of weird shit would have been like, oh, look the Rams. The Rams on their coattails. So I think they're only a game back from the 7th spot. The Rams are.
I mean, Cowboys damn near would have been trying to hop on their coattails at that point. But Kevin, this next game, it was interesting because there was another team fighting to stay alive, but even though they won, they didn't seem to be happy. And that team is the Cincinnati Bengals, who defeated the Tennessee Titans 37-27. And before we get your response about this game, I shall note that Will Levis, the Mayo Man, the guy who likes to put mayonnaise in his coffee, he has been benched for the seasonal quarterback known as Mason Rudolph, who right around the holiday season, he takes over at the end of a campaign once again.
Will Levis, man. For the day one listeners, beginning of the season, Toddy would always mention that there's a new picture of Will Levis every weekend. And it continues to show why a lot of teams didn't believe in him as a first-round quarterback. I remember on draft day, a lot of people were questioning what made him fall. Why did he deserve to fall to the second round?
He did fall. I remember that. Yeah.
Everyone thought they had a generational talent.
He was supposed to go fourth.
Yeah. He was supposed to, out of Kentucky, yes, the basketball school, he was supposed to come out and be a big-time player for this organization. And it just hasn't been that. They had DeAndre Hopkins. They have Calvin Ridley. They got Tony Pollard. They have a really good defense. It just comes down to the quarterback play. And if you don't have a quarterback, you really have nothing. Bengals, Joe Burrow, I will preach this from the mountaintop. If they were 8-6, he's the MVP. He is single-handedly carrying this team. For him to come out another 3-touchdown game, 271 yards. The biggest difference from this Bengals team to Bengals teams past was the run game. They never utilized Joe Mixon like I've heard that with the way the Texans are using him. But Chase Brown, they're letting him carry that pill. 25 times for 97 yards, 4 yards per carry. To have that run game and have guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase on the outside. We've seen Mike Gesicki and Jonnu Smith rejuvenate their careers these past couple of weeks. So they got a lot going on in Cincinnati, and unfortunately not going to be able to playoffs, but they're a team that's not going to give up. Mike Totti suggested the San Francisco 49ers do, but everyone's different mentality. So
just catching strays left and right are the San Francisco 49ers on this podcast. And speaking of the Niners, I will just highlight one of our most recent comments.
The first round pick
from cousin Marcellus says, and for the 49ers first round pick, the 49ers select. Man, if the 49ers got Travis Hunter, I would go absolutely.
That means Brandon Ayuk and Nick Bosa are Jacksonville Jaguars.
Damn, Kevin.
Yeah. Well,
maybe not, brother. What?
Travis maybe Hunter. Maybe not.
Not both of them. One of them.
Yeah, not both of them. I'd say Deebo Samuel.
Oh, hell no.
And Deebo Samuel and Jordan Mason.
Hell
no.
For Travis Hunter, the number one pick. The
NBA is he going number one though, or is he going
NBA would go? You guys remember when Chris Paul tried to go to the Lakers? That's what we're doing today.
He'll be like top 5.
He's going number 1.
He'll be top 5 because it's going to be Shedeur, and then there might be a team that's desperate for a quarterback that's going to sneak up to number 2 to get Cam Ward or someone else. And so, yeah, I think
if the Jags get the number 1 overall pick, they might pick Travis.
Well, Marcellus says, brother, ew. Hunter isn't a two-way player in the league.
Going nowhere, bro. Get Travis Hunter, tear him with Malik Neighbors, and then next year, Arch.
Do one of these teams do they pull what the Houston Texans
and get both of them, bro? Oh my goodness, I'd lose my mind.
That'd be insane.
Whoever the coach is has to get fired, and Deion has to take over.
Well, I think if there was a team to do it, it would be the Las Vegas Raiders. And so we'll have to wait and see on that. But this next game, the Chiefs went to Cleveland and beat the Browns 21-7. And I don't really have much to say about this game other than the fact that after this game, Jameis Winston was benched. We're going to see that theme continue here. But Jameis Winston has been benched. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to take over at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. But aside from that, and it's because Jameis Winston has 12 interceptions in the last 6 games. So he's averaging a couple interceptions a game. They're going to go with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. But what I wanted to say about this game isn't even related to the game. It was just related to this weekend where I drove down to Long Beach to cover a football state championship game. And as I was checking out of my hotel room on Sunday morning to drive back, I had the TV on and I was like, all right, what's on Fox? What's on CBS? On Fox was the Cowboys and Panthers game. And I just thought, oh, hell no. And then I went on to CBS and I saw it was the Chiefs and Browns. And I was like, well, this isn't much better. And I was like, well, at least the Chiefs are a playoff team. So I put on the Chiefs and Browns. I watched the Chiefs and Browns for like 10, 15 minutes at the start of it. But yeah, I guess the 30 for 30 experiment is over in Cleveland. Jameis Winston, I got to say, Jameis Winston may not be a quarterback forever because Father Time gets after everyone. However, he will make an amazing preacher one day because some of the stuff that he has to say is inspiring.
I remember when he was stealing lobsters. I remember when he was stealing lobster wings.
Right? And when he was eating W's and yeah, so we'll see if Jameis Winston ends up getting another starting quarterback opportunity in the NFL. But Toddy, if you could talk about this next game for us, the Texans beat the Dolphins 20-12.
Me and Kevin, we gambled on this game. This was just my thought process for me picking the Dolphins was Tua inside of a dome plays out of his mind. They look like the greatest show on turf. Inside, not outdoors. Tua turned the ball over way too many times in this game. The Texans had a couple of turnovers themselves, which kind of left the Dolphins hanging around. But I feel like Tua's were very timely. The Dolphins had way too many chances this game to kind of either they were within a score a bunch of times and then Tua throws a pick. Or the Dolphins are driving and about to score a touchdown, Tua throws a pick. That was really the difference in this game. And the Texans have Nico Collins and CJ Stroud, but Tua and Tyreek ain't bad. I think Jalen Waddle did go off in this, or he got hurt in this game. And then I'm not sure if Achane got hurt in this game too, because I did see a lot of Mostert at the end. But I don't know, man. Tua and they kept talking about on the broadcast. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Well, on Sunday he was not one of those guys. So, the Texans, I did see a stat that they get like the highest pressure rate on quarterbacks all season. Usually, DeMeco Ryans' defense have that effect on people. We've seen that in previous years when the Niners were going to NFC championships and Super Bowls. He was our D coordinator. Now he's killing it with the Texans, and the Texans are probably going to win the division.
Do me a favor, read that comment from Cousin Marcellus.
Cousin Marcellus says Tua loves throwing the ball to his favorite receiver, Stingley. He's talking about the cornerback for the Texans, Derek Stingley. I think he had 2 picks in this game.
Back to back.
Yeah, it was. Can we start talking about him as like a top 5 corner in the league?
No, Tommy, absolutely fucking not.
Okay, I don't.
Why not? Okay, top 10.
Absolutely not. You can
Why
name,
not?
You can name 10 corners right now off the dome better than Derek Stingley.
Do it then.
Sauce.
Not this year.
Surtain.
I'll give you Surtain.
Jalen Ramsey.
Not this year.
Trayvon Diggs.
Not this year.
Toddy, you've said 4 so far, and Toddy said not this year for 3.
I'm sure Deron Bland, we're going to take over him.
No!
I will. I'll take Deron Bland.
Deron Bland was in the year for 1 year.
What are we talking about?
Stingley's been around for a minute. Stingley's been around for a minute.
Kevin, brace yourself. You're not going to like what Cousin
Kevin, you got to clip this. You have to clip this.
Kevin.
That's fine. I mean, Slay is 30 years old.
For the audio-only listeners, Cousin Marcellus said Stingley over
Stingley's a top
Darius
5 corner,
Slay.
Kevin.
Toddy.
And Cousin Marcellus also said Sauce weak as fuck this year.
All right, Toddy. So you're taking him over Jalen Ramsey.
Yes.
Jair Alexander.
Right. Jair, yeah, because Jair doesn't play. Jair doesn't play.
Patrick Surtain.
Not Patrick Surtain, no.
Denzel Ward.
I'll take him over Denzel Ward.
Toddy, this is getting out of hand. Marlon Humphrey. Let me guess. You're going to take Derek Stingley Jr.?
I'll take Derek Stingley.
I'll take.
What the fuck has Derek Stingley done besides this season?
Okay.
I say top 10, not top 5. I say top.
I think it's a top 5 corner.
Is he better than Tre'Davious Ward?
Travarius Ward?
Yes.
I don't know.
Is he better than Marshawn Lattimore?
Is he better than Diamador Lenore? I don't know. Oh.
Is he better than L'Jarius Sneed? Jalen Johnson? Trent McDuffie?
He's playing like a top 5 corner this year.
AJ Terrell? Toddy, you know what, brother? Are you being honest right now? Or are you?
I'm being dead ass right now. Like,
I'm looking
like one of the best corners of the league. Kevin, I want you to clip this. Is Derek Stingley a top? This should be a factor cap. Is Derek Stingley a top 5 corner? Let's do it right now, Kev. Factor cap.
So
live factor cap.
Impromptu factor cap.
2 games with 2 picks.
Kevin, let's just do it for the clip purposes. I need the factor cap.
Toddy, hell no. There's no way. I can name 10 guys better than him. There's no way.
You couldn't name 5.
Toddy, I did. And you said, not this year, not this year, not this year.
Yeah, I said this year he's been playing like a top 5 corner.
But he hasn't, Toddy.
It's not crazy to say.
So he's better than Quinyon Mitchell?
Quinyon's young.
He's better than Jalen Johnson?
Yes.
No. Okay, move on, Shaun.
All right, moving on. So, Kevin, if you could talk about this next game, the Broncos beat the Colts 31-13.
I'm sorry you guys have to go through that. Colts,
hey,
Broncos.
Patrick Surtain's Broncos.
You know,
I agree with that. Pat's number 1. I think he's the best corner in the league.
It really hurts to see Anthony Richardson go out like this. Tough. You know, he had a great week last week. He's been looking really good since coming back, and then they have a stinker like this. We talk about a legit top 5 corner. Pat Surtain is one of the best in the world. And the Broncos got away with one. Bo Nix, 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. Look like Jameis Winston out there. And when you hear those stats, you're thinking he threw for 250, 130. So there are a lot of check down Charlies over there, and if he's your leading rusher with 23 yards and 8 carries, they got a lot of things to work on over there. But, you only play the team on the field. And unfortunately, the other team on the field was the Colts. So it wasn't a challenging victory, in my opinion.
So this next game, I got the Cardinals beat the Patriots 30-17. This was a must-win for the Cardinals. If they wanted to stay in the NFC West division race with the Rams and the Seahawks, they had to get this gimme game. But so that to me is not significant. The thing that I do think is significant is the fact that I've already seen talking heads talking about firing Gerard Mayo, the Patriots head coach, when he hasn't even finished his first season yet. But the reason why this doesn't make any sense to me and why it shouldn't even be a discussion is because this was the heir apparent to Bill Belichick. This is who the organization said, he's been a Patriot for life. He won Super Bowls with us as a linebacker, and he's going to be our guy. He's been coaching under Belichick. He's the guy to lead us out of the Bill Belichick era. And the Kraft family could still be behind him 100%. But to see anyone insinuate that Gerard Mayo should just be a one and done, it's like you knew that he would be a project head coach. He's just getting started. He doesn't have the experience. And so to cut his leash that short, to me, just wouldn't make sense, even though the Patriots are 3-11. And so I am on Team Mayo on this one. And I'm not talking Mayo.
Patriots
like
team
Will
total
Levis.
or win total is 5.5. So
so
still got a chance.
Yeah, just barely. And so, Toddy, if you could talk about this next one, this surprised me a little bit. Not so much because of who won, but because of the margin of victory. As the Buccaneers went to Los Angeles and beat the Chargers, Inglewood to be specific, but the Buccaneers beat the Chargers 40-17.
Kevin and I had the Bucks on the original parlay. I just thought Baker, they needed a victory. And I think the Falcons they lost the week prior. So I think the Bucks are leading that division currently right now. And the news came out about Michael Penix, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. I think the Bucks they're kind of getting hot at the right time. I feel like they had a weird middle of the pack of the year, but they're starting to finish out the year stronger. Mike Evans, who Kev needs to for his season-long parlay. I think he's going to. I think he cashed. Did he cash yet, Kev? Or he's got a couple.
I'm pulling it up right. I think he's close because he missed a couple games. Let me see.
I think
he missed 3 games. I wrote about that last night.
I need 143 more yards.
Oh, he's got 3 more games.
Oh,
that's easy work.
He had 159 in this game alone in 2 TDs.
He's on my fantasy, by the way, guys.
Hey, your fantasy team's pretty good.
I wanted to see Bucky Irving a little bit more in this game, but I thought he did pretty well.
Because he's also on your fantasy team.
He is also on my fantasy team.
I wonder why you'd like to see more.
But
it's a recurring theme.
Baker's been our guy, Baker Mayfield. He's been Baker gets hot. He can win a playoff game. We've seen him. Baker's got playoff wins. That's all I gotta say. He's got playoff victories. So I mean, they could be a dangerous team in the playoffs if they get there. And I think by the standings, they're winning their division, so they would have a home playoff game. So the Bucks, man, I think they just got to win out. They control their own destiny if they win out. So hats off to this game. I just think the Chargers are playing a little bit hurt right now. Like Herbert's kind of hobbling around. Lad McConkey tried to come back from injury. And they're missing, I think, who's on IR? J.K. Dobbins is on IR. My boy Juan, Charger fan, is always texting me and said, don't pick the Chargers, don't pick the Chargers. And I said, hey, I didn't pick the Chargers this week. Just letting you know. And they got fucking stomped. So, I mean,
banged.
Hats off to the Bucks winning in LA too. So,
yeah, exactly. And Kevin, I want you to talk about this next game specifically, please, because this is an option, 2 options for who the Eagles could see in their first playoff game, either in the super wild card round or in the divisional round if the Eagles end up getting that first round bye, as the Packers went to Seattle and beat the Seahawks 30-13. Pack is back.
You know, I had such high hope for the Seahawks. I wouldn't even call them Seahawks. I called them NFC West champions.
And they're still front. They're still in first place. They're tied.
Yeah,
they're tied for first place with the Rams.
To see Geno go down,
yeah,
you just rough. Felt it in the air. Like Toddy mentioned, your Blington was 14-0. Josh Jacobs doing everything that he can. I'll say it. The Packers are a really good team in the NFC. I don't think they're one of the best teams in the NFC, but I think they're a really good team.
Are they better than Lions?
No. Okay. Evident by, them getting swept. But neither here nor there. But Seahawks, without Geno, they can only do so much. But I sure do love me a good JSN over on yards bet. Because he needs to follow through on me. So appreciate you, brother. But the Seahawks are going to be good, man. The Seahawks are fine. Geno Smith cannot go down. And we need to find DK Metcalf. Him and Deebo Samuel, same time, just
tough. They did get paid at the same time.
Yep, and both ain't done shit since.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately. But at least Jackson Smith and Jigba, he has emerged. So that's the bright spot.
Quick note on Jackson Smith and Jigba. So I just want to go back 2 years, I think it was 2 years ago, gambled on him. The breakout game that he had in the bowl game when CJ Stroud went off, he had four touchdowns, 256 yards. Had Ohio State in that game against Utah. It was definitely a shootout. It was part of a 7-leg parlay. It was championship weekend. I don't know. It was like bowl weekend or something like that. Gambled on Ohio State. They wanted me a bunch of money. Shout out to Jason. Always got love and respect for you, big dog. Even though you do play for the
Respect. Yep. That's exactly how I feel as an Ohio State fan seeing him go to the Seahawks. It's like, man, I want to see him do well, but I don't want to see him do well for that team, unfortunately. And so now I got this next game, and Toddy, you'll close things out for us, but I'm going to swap the order of Monday Night Football just because I want Toddy to talk about his beloved Bears. But I got the Falcons beating the Raiders 15-9. And the Raiders put a little bit of a scare in the Falcons at the end, because the Raiders were trailing by like 12 points with 2 minutes left. They score, make it 15-9, and then Desmond Ridder. He's driving with a shot of redemption at the end of the game and ultimately throws a pick to Jesse Bates to end the game. But for the Raiders to even be in this game and have a chance to win it at the end was just kind of a microcosm of how much the Falcons have been struggling with Kirk Cousins over the last month. And because of that, Kirk O'Chains, was officially benched today for Michael Penix. And so on a personal note, Toddy likes to talk about his fantasy team a lot. I like to talk about my dynasty fantasy team a lot. And I drafted Michael Penix in the 4th round of the rookie draft this past year. I stashed him away on my taxi squad. And now he's a prospect on my team, and I'm going to probably use him as trade bait because I got Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy. But anyways, the Raiders.
For those of you who don't know, we had who would be benched first to Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins. And I said Kirk Cousins, and niggas were screaming at me. Shaun, you weren't here. It was Kaz, and it was Toddy's cousin. Kevin, you're crazy. You're crazy.
Wait, you said Deshaun Watson or Kirk Cousins? Who would get benched first?
Who would get benched first? And everyone said Deshaun, and I was like, nah, bro, it's Kirk. It's Kirk. It's Kirk. It's Kirk. And everyone said
okay. And you mentioned this in the group chat of if Deshaun didn't get hurt.
I don't think they would have benched Deshaun just because he's making way too much money.
I still
looking back.
I still stand by. I still stand by that. Like even in hindsight,
Kevin to sit on the bench.
So Deshaun's injury just put this hypothetical to a rest completely because he's no longer playing due to injury. But even in hindsight, I stand like if I were on the podcast that weekend, I wasn't out for that month that I had to step back for a bit. I still would stand by saying that Deshaun Watson would be benched first because
no matter how bad he played, he could be thrown.
We got to get your replacement.
That's my only thing. The Falcons they drafted a guy, so I get where Kev was coming from. Like, all right, like you fuck around if you want to. We got this young bull back here. He waiting to get his shine on.
But the thing is, they can't go back.
Oh no, yeah,
You're fucked. It's Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins is playing somewhere else next year.
Who do the Falcons play this week?
They ain't gonna win.
The Falcons. The Falcons have the Giants. So this is the remaining. So
That's right.
the NFC South race is up for grabs. As the Bucs are 8-6, the Falcons are 7-7. But it's important because the Falcons have the tiebreaker over the Bucs. I know that they beat them once. Didn't they beat them twice?
Twice.
So the Falcons have the full-on bona fide tiebreaker over the Bucs. And so if they both finish with the same record, Falcons win the division because of the tiebreaker. So the Bucs are currently up one game right now, but Atlanta has the Giants, the Commanders, and the Panthers left on their schedule. That's two winnable games right there.
Can they beat the?
They could fuck around and beat the. They could fuck around and beat the Durs.
Every Michael Penix DraftKings player prop, I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
Well, the Buccaneers, they also have a pretty winnable schedule to end the season too. You could argue that the Falcons have a tougher schedule just because the Commanders are better than
Imagine
any
the
of the
Falcons
teams.
get into the playoffs and Michael Penix is the quarterback,
and they win a game.
That'd be pretty cool.
And
the Buccaneers
wins is Kirk Cousins in the playoffs.
So the Buccaneers who they have remaining is the Dallas Cowboys, the Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints. And so that's three winnable games in my opinion. The Commanders, I don't know if the Falcons will beat the Commanders. And so I'll probably still go with Baker Mayfield. No, I'm just looking at a Schefter tweet where it just says the remaining opponents. But before we move on to Toddy's beloved Bears, I did want to mention one last thing, and this is also from Schefter. If the Falcons were to cut Kirk Cousins prior to the start of the 2025 league year, they would have $65 million in dead money. If they were to trade him, the $27.5 million base salary guarantee would transfer over to the acquiring team. So then the Falcons would just be responsible for the $37.5 million proration. And if the Falcons release Kirk Cousins with a post-June 1st designation, they would have $40 million in dead money in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. So they got to try to find a trade partner is what I got from that. Because if you're going to make this move, then Michael Penix has to be, regardless of what happens to end the season, Michael Penix has to be the guy to start next season. But Toddy, what do you think?
That Commanders game is in DC, so they got to go on the road for that game.
Oh, even tougher.
That game might be for a playoff spot, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. That even if the Falcons can't win the NFC South anymore because the Buccaneers just went out, that game right there could be for the 6th or 7th wild card spot. So that's a great point. And Toddy, if you could,
they were favored. The Falcons were favored by 10. It dropped to 8.5 when they announced Michael Penix.
All right. So Vegas is believers in Michael Penix. And Toddy, if you could wrap up Week 15 for us, the Vikings beat the Bears 30-12 on Monday Night Football.
Bears got their shit pushed in on national TV.
Oh.
There's not really much to say about it. The Bears are a mess. They're gonna be a 4-win team. Can the Bears are the Bears gonna pick in the top 5? And could they get Travis Hunter?
No, Travis Hunter's not going down.
Travis Hunter and Caleb Toddy would go nuts.
Kevin, let's think about it. 2 of those top 5 teams will need a quarterback, so they're not going to draft Travis.
Yep.
So what if the Bears are like 3rd?
Let me look at the draft order.
It might be. It's either going to be between the Bears or New England might get them. It's going to be the Bears, New England, or
Raiders, Giants, Patriots, Jaguars, Panthers, Titans, Browns, Jets, Bears. So they're at 10 right now.
Tough. Damn. That's a lot would have to train. I mean, Caleb, that I look like a complete douche when you go back.
You're a douche.
Caleb, the top 15 quarterback. Freezing cold takes. It's okay. I'm gonna keep buying Caleb stock, guys. I'm gonna keep buying it.
Hey, I respect it.
Just like Shaun is the VP of Shaun or the Justin Fields fan club, Toddy. That's all you.
I ain't the VP. I am the president.
Oh, the president. Sorry.
Yeah, Shaun is the president. I'm the president of the Caleb fan club.
And the only member, Toddy. Make sure you
you're
a president of a one-on-one club.
I may be a 101 in the Justin Fields fan club, but I will buy some stock on Caleb Williams. Toddy, I don't know if I believe. You know what? Fuck it. if you need a VP, I'm your guy.
Oh, Shaun, don't down his hill. Don't down his hill with him.
Live on the show.
I will not buy stock in the top 15 discussion yet, but I think Caleb Williams is a 15-year NFL quarterback. And
I think
if you're going to last that long, you got to have some success.
It's tough, man. The Bears are just bad. I don't know how they could be this bad. He
Bears,
has no time to throw the ball. Like
I think the Bears are cursed.
It could be
I
that.
think the Bears just suck.
It's
Okay.
It's that too. It's a little bit of both.
They go do the same thing over and over and over. Firing OCs, firing head coaches. Same thing with Justin Fields. Same thing with Mitch Trubisky. We've seen this movie.
Yeah,
we know how it plays out. Unfortunately,
not a good look for the Bears. But on the other side, did you guys see when Justin Jefferson scored and said he screamed to the camera, "We love you,
Andy"?
That was so tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those white jerseys are fucking sick, bro.
I thought they were like silver, and then I kind of like look at them a little bit.
The captain patch being white was a chef's kiss.
That was tight. Yeah. But Vikings, dude, does Sam Darnold come back next year?
We're gonna see.
Does Sam Darnold have to win a playoff game for him to come back? I feel like he should come back next year.
They beat the Lions. He's coming back.
Ooh. Yeah.
Sam's been playing out of his ass. He was on our team, and he's not on the team anymore. He was
and also something that they talked about during Monday Night Football, they being Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, is that Sam Darnold talked about a lot from his experience on the 49ers, is he learned a lot about defenses, not even so much about how to maximize an offense, but Kyle Shanahan, the coach who Kevin keeps saying we should let go of, he helped teach Sam Darnold some more about defense.
And the sweatsuit collector.
But I think Kevin O'Connell still has a lot to do with it as well, as I'm going to ignore that insult and keep it pushing. God.